Yes, welcome back everyone, and today we are going to continue with our StackOverflow website. Last time I got disconnected, and I'm very sorry for that, but yeah, internet issues. So last time we were working on this voting system here, and so we have this CSS and HTML and the whole voting component here, and the thing that we need to fix now is this API endpoint to update database when someone clicks on this or this triangle or arrow. So to do this, I started with this database query to first check if someone already voted, and this will not be correct because first we need to know what user clicked on the button here or here. So we need a user ID also here. So I will do like this, user ID, but we don't know what is the user ID yet here, and we need to get this from the database as well. So the problem is that we send only token to alongside with the request, but we were already using this token to get user ID somewhere else. Let's see, it was in I think question routes. Yes, here we are selecting ID of a user based on the token that is sent with the request. So to not just copy paste this part, I will create a new file here in our API directory, and I will call it user functions.js, and here I will create the function get logged in user, and I will paste this code. Yes, db.js needs to be imported because we are using the database. Yes, and we will select everything, not only the ID, because maybe we will need also I don't know, email or something. So we don't have the token here, that's why there's under green underline here, and we'll place it as a parameter here. Yes, and we will just return it like this. We need also a return here, so we can do some promise handling outside of this function. So we have this get logged in user function now here in user functions in our API directory. Now we just need to export this function, but this way, not as default, but just like this, get logged in user. Yes, I don't know why it's red here. Declaration expand. Okay, maybe it needs to be like this, export. Yeah, now it works. So we are exporting function that is not default here, get logged in user, so we can use it here, but I don't need to refactor this yet. Instead we go back to our vote routes, and here we miss user ID, but we can get it first. We need token. So token was, let's see, because I don't remember, we get token from cookies. So const token equals request cookies token, and then we can get logged in user. As you can see, the function has been automatically imported. I will just add .js, and then we pass token to this function, and then we can do .then. So we handle the user information that we get from the database. So we get a user object here if everything is correct. So when we get the user, we can get the user ID and run this query. So for now I'll just copy everything from here and I will put it here. So now we don't need this user ID because we have it in our user object. Then we want to know first if the user already clicked any of those, or maybe not clicked, but if any of those is already active. So first we want to fetch from the database the current state, voting state for this question. So let's see, we need to select, maybe not count, but we will just select everything. So asterisk, we don't need this db row part. From votes, we need also where, and because we don't want to get any vote, we want the vote for this specific user and this specific question. So here we will have post ID, and the post ID we have here, post ID sent with post data, and then user ID, and then we have it in the user object. All right, and then we are getting the first row from the table, and then with this row we don't need to check the count, and let's rename it to vote because we get it from the votes table. So now when we have the vote that we have in the database for this user and this question, we know which pillow or which arrow user clicked. So depending on what we have in the database and depending what the user clicked, we need to maybe delete this row, maybe just update, or yeah, that's only those two. So if the user, let's see, what was the name of it? Yeah, it's vote, it's not direction, but we have it there as a direction here. So the direction or vote in the table is +1 for this and -1 for this. So if we have direction or vote that is +1 or just 1, and is the same in the database and same in the post, then we just delete it. So if, for example, for this one, if it's already clicked, so we have this record in the database, and someone clicks this again, we just want to remove this vote, and same will be for the arrow down. So it will be if direction equals equals vote.vote, because the direction thing is called vote in our votes table. Then we want to delete this row in this table. So we have the idea of this vote, so we can just delete the vote, and that should be simple as db votes delete I will just quickly check how they do delete in connects. Delete where blah 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 delete. Okay, so just deal. So votes were ID equals vote ID. We can do it as a one-liner here. We just delete it. Then it's fine. So we just do response status, or we just response send, because 200 is the default. That's it. And when we fail with deleting, then we want to catch and send a bad response status 422 and send. Alright, that's for deleting the vote. So when someone clicks and the arrow that is already clicked. Now when someone clicks another arrow, then we need to delete it and also add a new one, or maybe update the previous one. So I will do an update thing. So if it's not the same, then we want to update the vote. So it will be db and votes. And then we will add with the update, and first we need to add where. So where ID will be vote ID. We'll update vote to direction. Then we just response send, and if something goes wrong, we do just response status 42 and send. Yeah, but I need to also check if there is any vote in the database first. So this vote object, it can be null. So if no vote, then if there is no vote, then we want to insert a new vote. So db votes insert, and we need to insert all the columns here, so almost all the post ID, user ID, and vote. So post ID will be post ID, user ID will be user.id, because we get the user object from get logged in user function. And now we need also to place our vote, and we get it in the direction in our direction variable that we get from post. So now we have everything, then we can do, then we just send the response send, and if something goes wrong we will do, I forgot about this, is a function, not a variable, and if something goes wrong, response status 422 send, yes. And yeah, if we don't have the vote, we don't want to run. If we go inside this if, we don't want to go further here, so I will just replace this with else if, like this. So when we get inside here, we don't want to run the rest of the code. And I think that will be it. So now I will just test it. So now I will go to vote component. It's called voting buttons here, and we pass, let's see where it's used. It's used on a question page. We pass the vote that it's 1. It's not actually 1. And we pass also the vote here. So here is our vote. It's +1 or -1. And the current vote total is here. So let's just see what happens if I click on the arrows. Okay, I got 42, and I don't know why, so we need to go back to our vote routes and console log some stuff. So I'll add console log here. Like this, and I will copy this part so I can put it here and here. Let's click again. And let's open this terminal here, and let's see what went wrong. Incorrect integer value down for column vote. Okay, so we send up or down, and instead we need the +1 or -1. Alright, so let's see. Here we get the direction, and we use it here and here. So instead of doing this way, we will remove the direction and do like this. Post ID we get from here, but const direction needs to be +1 or -1. So let's get request params and direction. If it equals up, then we return 0, 1, and if it's not up, then it will be down, so it will be -1. So now let's see. If I click arrow down, then it fails. Let's see why. So let's go to our question page, and there is problem with handle on arrow down click. Let's see. Okay, we don't get current vote number, but we should. So I will go back to our vote routes, and for every success, like here, here, and here, we want to return vote count for this specific question. So because it's several places, I will create another function for that outside of the routing file. So say as we have user functions, I will create vote functions, vote functions.js, and let's create function called get post total. We will not call it a question because it can be comment or answer or anything, but we need post ID in this function, and let's also export it so we don't forget it. So export function get post total. We will need database, and it has been imported. Cool. So from the database we need to select, and let's use db row here. So we want to select count as C from votes where post ID equals post ID, and that's all we need. So then we'll not do, then here we'll do this outside of this function. So if we go back to vote routes, we have successful response here, here, and here. And on the successful response we want to send the total of this question, voting total. So I'm wondering how to do this without copy pasting a lot, and I think that I'm thinking about adding response as a param, but no, but it's not a good idea. So let's start with this first one. So if we insert a new vote, Then get post total, and then then we have row here with a C column, but I want to have it prettier, so I'll go to get post total function, and I will return a new promise, and here resolve reject, and I'll put everything here, then resolve, and otherwise catch reject. Alright, this should work. And I want to send everything here. Instead I will do like this row C, because we just get the count here. Alright, so then we get the count, and then we can do response JSON count. So maybe I will put it like this. So when we don't have any vote, then we insert the vote, then we get the total for this question or post, and when we get this total we send it as a JSON. We could actually, if it's the same here, we could actually make it like this, but we need also to handle error here, so if something fails, then let's console log the error, and let's response with status 42 and send the response. Alright, now we need to put it also into other places. When we delete the vote and when we update the vote. I will just fix the formatting here, so there will be more spacing. Yes. Here we are updating the vote. Now we are deleting the vote here. So let's get the total here as well. If everything goes right, then we want to get post total. Yes, and I forgot to provide post ID here and here. Then response JSON, otherwise I will just copy this part like this, and this will be super quick here. Like this. Now let's see. Something is wrong here. Okay, there's a missing .js. Okay, let's see what happens if I click on this one. cannot read property app of undefined. Okay, that is a strange error. Let's check vote functions. Vote roads. Okay, let's check voting up. Refresh. Clear. Nothing happens. Let's see why we don't send anything. That is strange. Let's see on our question page. Voting buttons on arrow up click, handle on arrow up click. We send this. So let's see what's wrong. Maybe in the console. Yes, here. Warning, warning. Here. Unknown event handler property on arrow up click. It will be ignored. Okay, this is unknown for voting buttons. Let's see. On our up click. Okay. It's not a it's not like a variable. So it should be like this. Let's clean this network and let's see. Try again. Yes, it works. But this one is still running. Okay, here we have the response. And no, this one is still running and this is wrong. Let's go to vote routes. Yes. And something is wrong here. Okay, I think we need to send this JSON. So for all those, there are 3 places where we do it. So we get the count here, and in this JSON we will do JSON count because we want to send this count as a JSON, and then we do dot send. And let's try again. So arrow down. And let's see what went wrong. So there's something wrong with current vote number. Let's see what do we have as a response here. Nothing to preview. Let's see if we have anything here. Yes. Cannot read property app of undefined. We are getting still this error, so let's see. Is it in index.js? Alright, let's go to question page and let's see what happens inside this function. What do we have? What do we get in the response? So instead of setting the vote, we will just console log it to see what do we got as a response. right, arrow down, console. Okay, we get no data, status 200 and status text. Okay, let's go back. So this is the update post. Let's try to send this count also here. Nothing. Okay, I will put the count on all of those. Count. Arrow down. We get nothing as a response. Let's see. We send a post. Yes, that's okay. Vote down 1. Okay. So this one is fine. We don't need this as a JSON, so I will remove the JSON part from all those 3. Now let's see, arrow down. Response. There's nothing in the response. Alright. So let's see, console. Yeah, the data is empty. Let's see why. I will try to console log the vote we get from the database, if there is any. Yes, we have one. So I will do console log here and here too. And I will remove this one. Okay, so the weird thing is that we get this here on every second. Okay, no, that's okay. So first I will delete all the votes, and we don't have any votes here. That's weird. I will click down, then we should have a vote. Yes, we have. I will click down again, then there shouldn't be any vote. Yes, that's okay. But it doesn't return anything here. So I will remove this here too. And let's focus on this one. Now let's focus on inserting first. So if everything goes fine, then response send the count. Let's do response send the test. Yeah, we got the test on every second. Let's do console log count is count. Okay, count is undefined. Let's see why. Let's go to get post total. So in here we are selecting count as C. Okay, but if it doesn't exist, we want to return 0. Okay, I don't know what this one. Let's refresh. Okay, maybe this row. If there is a row, then we return row C, because the C column is the count, otherwise 0. Undefined. Now we get an error. Let's see. Okay, because we get the error on arrow up. Let's see. Arrow down. It's still undefined. Let's do a console log of C. Not C, but row. Okay, so we get C. That is sometimes 1, sometimes 0. So this should work without this small if here. Let's see. Like this. Why is it undefined? Let's try this way. Still undefined. Ah, okay. Because this is an array, we need to add first here. Now this will work. I can just remove this part. And here we just need the row dot C. Missing. All right. Now it should work. No, it did not. We have some deprecated stuff. Not here. Response and status. Okay, let's start with count 1. All right, let's clean those first. And let's see what is wrong here. Invalid status code 0. Let's see where 42. Okay, so let's do like this. Response body, or not let's do JSON count, and for others too. So this place, and there is also another place. No. Okay, then not. So redo response JSON count and send. And another place is this JSON dot, and here we send the count. All right, let's see now. Clean this. Okay, we don't send any response. Let's see why. Let's go to anything else and see. Okay, send status. Go to vouchers. Send status 200. Response status 200. Right, let's try again. Now it works, and we have 0 here. That is awesome. Alright, so it finally works. And let's see if the failing procedure works. So if the failing here works, maybe not this one, but okay, we don't have any failing here. Catch. And here like this, and let's use the wrong table name. It's still running. Wait. Let's see why. Yeah, we got this error. Doesn't exist. Alright. I will just remove this double S for now. But I want to also send a response even if it fails. Let's try it this way. And the name should be invalid, so votes. Okay, it works. Alright, that's okay. Let's just put it back, the correct naming here. Alright, so we want to have also the count here where when we fetch the question, So let's go to question routes, and it's this part where we get the question with a specific ID. So we join users because we want the user, and let's join also we want to join also votes, but here we want to specify how we want to join them. This will be left join because it can be empty. Votes on posts ID equals votes post ID. Then we need to also do group by posts.id. Let's see if we still get the question information here. No, we don't. Instead, we get an error. Operator not permitted. Let's see. Is it join? No, it's left to join. Okay, this is the post ID. Connects group by. Let's see how to use it. Group by okay, let's try with group by row. Let's maybe restart. Okay, 8 fails. The operator posts.id is not permitted. Question routes here. Okay, let's try grouping by user ID. Or no, author ID. Let's restart the server. It still fails. Okay, I think... Okay, this is wrong. Is it? Okay, if we remove this and this, then it works, right? Yes, it works. If we just add this left join, does it work? No, it does not. If we add just group by, does it work? Yes, it works. So there's something wrong with the left join here. Let's see here, left join. Okay, so there are no parameters like in the regular join. Instead there's only one param, so okay, why have I wrote votes 2 times? That was the problem. Okay, now it works. So let's see what we have here. Questions. We want to also select db row count distinct votes ID as vote count. Let's see if this will work. It did. Vote count 0. Yoo-hoo. And let's also join. It will be left join the vote status for this user. So to do this is do votes as we need to left join votes 2 times. So let's see. Let's try this. I will do this here. Votes 2 on votes 2 post ID equals posts.id. And we want to also select we just want to join. Let's see. Something ran wrong. Yes. We need to put db row here like this. Now it works. Let's see, 10 questions. Okay, so the vote is null, and when we click this one, okay, this is wrong because, right, let's refresh and see what happens. We click this one, we send null here. When we click down, let's see in our vote, no, question page, yes. So let's for now remove this thing and just console log question ID here and here, and instead we send null. Question. Okay, ID is null here in the response, and that is because in question routes, when we join all these tables, some of the rows can be empty. So when we join, for example, left join votes here, and the votes to ID replaces the question posts ID. So we need to specify that we want to select only posts from here. Let's see. Yes. let's see all the columns we are selecting, and we want to also select let's see what we need here in our question page. Tags. Okay, but this is a separate query, I guess. Yes, it is. Where is it? Yes, here is the separate query. So I think that will be it. Okay, let's clean here. Arrow down. Now we vote and nothing happens. Let's go back to vote routes. And let's see why nothing happens. Maybe let's go here. Let's restart. Arrow down. And now we see. So in vote routes 43, here we send JSON as a count, and then we send status to 200. And why is this a problem? Headers already sent. And why is that possible? Alright, let's try again. Arrow down. We get count 1. Where do we console log it? It's in vote functions here. No. And there's console log count. Okay, we do it here. So I will just remove this one, this part here. And let's try again, arrow down. Now it kinda works. Let's see preview, 0, yes, that's fine. Let's see what is wrong now, 44. I will do like this, in case we get into multiple places. Now it works. And I click back, 0. Alright, so I just need to put return so we don't go into another places here. We shouldn't but I don't know. Right. Now let's go to our question page. So after voting, we get this information with data that can be 1 or 0. So now let's start with an arrow down click. So we get the response, and with this response we want to do set vote to I will rename those two. It will be vote count and set vote count. And here I will do set vote count, so it will be easier to differentiate, and response data. And we are also using it somewhere here. Vote count. Let's see. Okay, now it's 1, now it's 0. Yeah, it works. Alright, so the next part will be to display the initial value, and maybe also handle the arrow up click. So it will be the same thing here, like this. Okay, I noticed a problem. If we click down, we don't want 1. We don't want to count the votes. Instead, we want to also add -1. So in vote functions, we don't want to count all the votes, but we want to summarize this column. So in vote functions, we do sum of vote column. Refresh. Now it's 0. Now it didn't work. Okay, it was null. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, now it's null. Vote. Okay, let's call it C for now. But otherwise, if there are no rows, let's just make it 0. Okay, now it's -1. Now it's 0. Now it's +1. Now it's 0. Alright, let's go to question page. Reload this one, and let's see if in this request we got the vote count. Okay, it's 0. So let's use it. We are on the question page. And now we want to also set the vote count, the initial vote count. So we will do set vote count here, response data question, and vote count. Yes. So it's 0, 1. Let's do +1. Now it's +1. And if we click on now it's -1. It didn't stay. Okay, let's see why. -1. Now it's 1. Let's see in votes table. Okay, so now it's -1. So it should be -1. Let's see what is wrong here. What do we get here? vote count is 1. Instead we should get vote. We should get -1 here. Okay, let's try to run it. Select sum of vote from votes. Okay, as see. Okay, it should be -1. Okay, I think I know what's wrong. Let's see what will happen if I will remove the only row we have it here, and I will run this again. Okay, we got null. I want to check if it's null. How to do this? JavaScript is null. Okay, just triple equal. Let's go to vote functions. And here, if the row C is null, then we want to do 0, otherwise row C. Let's do like this. Now it should be -1. Let's see vote table. Yes. Now when we refresh, it's 1, but it should be -1. Let's see questions here. Vote count. And it probably shouldn't be called vote count. Alright, I think we are... Yeah, vote count should be 1, because this is just a count. We need to select something else in question routes. This is a different join here. Okay, so we do votes 2, and here we select count instead of sum. Let's go also this way, and let's go to question page and like this. Why was it 51 in the beginning? And why it's empty now? Let's see. Alright, maybe if when it's null, I will create a new variable of it, a const, and if it's null, then I want to place 0, otherwise the value. So now it's 0, now it's 1, now it's 0, now it's 1. Now let's refresh. Now it's 56, I don't know why. Let's see, vote sum is 56. How is that possible? Let's go to question routes. Okay, we don't want to count IDs, we want to count vote. and now this thing, because there can be same votes. Now it's 1, now it's 0. Now I refresh, it's still 0, now it's 1. Now I refresh, it's 1. Now it's -1. I refresh, it stays 1. Now it's 0. It stays. So I need to also fix so the color here stays. Alright, so let's go back to question page. Alright, and here, so let's go to our voting buttons, and the vote is always 1. So we need to store the current vote somewhere. So let's do this like this. Const user vote and set user vote use state, and the default will be 0. Now I want to check, because I think we get it from the vote summary, but we want also to have it and the current vote of the user, not only the summary. So we select votes here, and here we select votes too. Let's see. So here we left join votes. For this post to get the summary, and here we will join posts, but also on the username, so we know what is the vote for this user. So, and votes to user ID equals plus user ID that we don't yet have. So we need to put everything inside get logged in user, and let's add .js here. So, and we need token here. We just can put here request cookies token. Then we get the user, and we put everything inside here. Alright, we get user that is not yet used, and we replace this one with user.id. Save, and now let's see what do we get. We get an error. Token is not defined. Let's see. Request cookie token. Okay, it's not defined. Do we send it? Request cookie. No, we don't send it. So let's go to question page. And in the place where we fetch the question, we need to put use credentials with credentials equals to true. it still fails, let's see. Cannot read property of request cookie because it's request cookies. Let's try now. Now it works. Alright, so but we don't return it yet. So let's add another column in our select, and it will be votes to. Let's use db row here, votes to, and the column will be vote as user vote, and we need also this comma. Let's see, question. There are no votes because it's empty. Let's see if it's correct. Yes. Let's see. Now it should be -1. We have -1. Let's refresh. Now it's -1. Let's see, what do we get here? Summary is -1. Alright. Let's fake another row. Same post. And the vote will be also -1. User will be, I don't know, 2. Let's refresh. Now it's -2. Let's see what data do we have here. Yeah, so my vote is -1 and the summary is -2. Let's click arrow up. Now it's 0 because +1 and -1 is 0. Let's refresh and check if it still works. Yes, it's on 0. Let's replace the fake one with 1. Now it should be 2. Yes, and it works. So now let's finally make those active when they are selected. So in our question page, let's go to voting buttons, and the vote is always 1, and it's actually not. We need to set user vote, and we will have the user vote here. So let's use here user vote, and we also need to set the user vote here somewhere. So set user vote will be response data question user vote. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one is still orange. Let's see why. I will rename those. Value will be total. Like this. And I will replace vote with user vote. User vote. And here I'll add user vote is prop types number, and it's required. And I think we don't have it here yet. No. So here will be total, and here will be user vote. Okay. Almost, but I don't want to refresh those. So let's see. If it's 1, then we set it as active. User vote props user vote. it's always 1. Let's see why. User vote. Do we set user vote? Yes, we do. Okay, when someone clicks on the arrow, we need to also update user vote. Okay, so we don't need this console log here. And instead, let's go to here. And when someone clicks down, we will do set user vote. And then let's do like this. If user vote is 1, then we do -1, otherwise we do 1. And that will be the same for this. Let me think if this is correct. Yes, it is. So now looks like we don't have any votes for user ID 1, and it's correct. Let's see. Now it's 0. The wrong error is highlighted, but now it's more correct. And we have -1 for user ID 1. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Let's go back to voting buttons and let's put the console log back again. Now it's 1. Now it's -1. Alright, so this is the button, and those are the arrows. So if it's active, it's orange, otherwise it's gray. So on the arrows, we have this arrow up, active when it's user vote, it's 1. Otherwise, arrow bottom will be active when user vote is 0. I'll also put it here, user vote. And I will replace active with user vote, and there will be no -1 or something like this. So we just place the user vote here, or we could actually just put all props. It doesn't matter. So let's go back here. Props active, no. Props user vote, and it's arrow bottom. So if it's -1 and here user vote is 1, and I will remove this user vote from here. And let's check it. Almost there. All right. I'll put back the user vote. I know what I'm doing wrong. In a question page, in here, when we click on the arrows, if someone clicks on arrow up, then we don't want just to switch it. If it's 1, then we want to do 0. and when it's down, let's see, if it's -1, then we want to do 0, otherwise we want to do -1. Alright, let's see. -1, 0, -1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Alright. I think it's fixed now. So now it's 1. Now it's 2. Now it's 2. Now it's 0. Why it's 0? Now it's 2. Now it's 0. Okay. Alright, I know. It's 2. It's 1. It's still 1. Now it's 0. Alright. It works. I will just make this one prettier a little bit, maybe. Let's go to the total and see. Let's make this 7 and the bottom will be 5. Yeah, now it's better. Now here we have some warnings that I want to clean. Unknown event handler property on arrow up click. Alright. So let's go to question page. On arrow up click. On arrow down click. Let's see voting buttons. I think we don't even need those. Yeah, that's correct. And instead I'll put any. And here will be also any. Yeah, that's better. So let's also fix those in a login page. There is a problem that use context is not used. Okay, let's remove it. And on the question page JS, question page, line 54. Right, so it has a missing dependency. No, there are no missing dependencies. Let's refresh it. Right, but let's fix those. Because those are red. Unknown event handler property on arrow up click. It will be ignored. Maybe let's place them directly here. Like this. Clean. Refresh. Right, now the problem is no, I think it was better this way. Each child on the list should have a unique key property, and it's on the question page somewhere. Okay, here on tags. So key will be tag ID. Yeah. React does not recognize the user vote prop on a DOM element. Okay, so on voting buttons we don't want to put everything here, and instead we will just send lowercase. Okay, so instead of those we will do user vote as a lowercase, and here we do props user vote like this, and here we need to also update on this one and on the next one with lowercase v. Okay, that will be enough for fixing the bugs here. Okay, let's check this. In the total, let's put also this to 7. Alright. Voting system works. Let's close everything. Alright, so the next thing, let's see, what do we have here? We need also answers, and we need this button maybe, but maybe not. We get also tags here. I will make those as links, so let's fix it on a question page. Let's do let's make a tag a link. So when we check tag, we see that it's just a span. Instead, let's use links. So import link from React router DOM. So the style tag will not be span, but I style the link. And this. Yes, and now let's just remove the underline, text decoration none. But when someone hovers, let's add underline here. Or maybe not underline, but let's make them brighter or something. 5, 6, 7. Let's add some small transition to make it brighter. All easy. And the color needs to also be updated. B, E, F. Let's make it faster. Yeah, that works. It's not that important. So the next question works. Question part works. Tags are working. And the next thing would be answers and comments. So to make this work, we need to have here some comments and some answers. Alright, so let's start with comments. So let's go to question page. Here we have question body, question title. So this is question title, this is question body, and everything is inside the container. Alright, so the next thing would be comments. So comments will be here. So we need to load the comments. Same as the question, we will do. I will just rename this quickly to get question, and then I will add the function get comments. But yes, we will do get comments, or maybe we can get all answers with the comments. No, let's just do get comments first. So get comments. So in this get comments we do axios get, same as here, http localhost 3030 comments, and here we will pass the question ID. So it will be match params ID, and we also want to with credentials true. Then we get a response, and with the response we want to set comments. So let's add comments to our state comments, but those will be question comments, and let's also add here set question comments will be a state, so you state and an empty array. When we get the response, let's just do set question comments response data. All right. That's it. Now we want to run it when we get the response from the question, or maybe not, maybe at the same time as we fetch the question. So here we initiate everything, we get the question, let's get also comments. That's it. Now we need to fix API endpoint for this comments. So let's go to API, and here we need to add the comment routes. So new file comment routes.js, and here as always import express from express, then const comment routes equals express dot router, and it's a function. Then export default comment routes like this. And to not forget, let's go to nodejs in our API and let's use our new routes, app use, comment routes. It has been imported, but let's add .js. Right, so when someone wants to get comments for a question, so let's make it like this way: get comments for a specific post ID. Alright, request response. Alright, so when someone wants comments for a question, then we want to select all select everything from posts where parent ID will be post ID, but we don't have it yet, so const post ID equals request params post ID. Then we get comments, and with them let's just do response to JSON comments and send status 200. Let's see if it works. We should get an empty array here, and it doesn't work. Let's see why. Okay, it should be db.js. Let's refresh. Yeah, we get some okay, I don't know why we get this thing. What if we just do like this? Okay, so the problem with the heteroserver descent were because we were doing send status on a JSON, and we shouldn't. So I can also fix it in about routes. Let's go quickly to response JSON, send the status. We got this in 3 places, and it would be just like this. Yes. So we get an empty array, but let's fake that we have a comment here. Alright, so this is question post ID 10. So let's do example. No, this will be no, because it's title. A comment will have only a content. So let's do here example comment. Parent ID will be 10. Author ID will be me. So it's like this. Now let's see this thing. Yeah, so we get a comment here. that is very nice. We need to join user information. So let's go to our comment routes, and here we will join the users table on users ID equals posts. I think it was called author ID. Yes, author ID. So now let's see where we are getting the comments. I think it's this one. Yes. So we get also here email and other stuff. All right, so let's clean this thing, and let's print the comments. So on question page, let's go to this comments text. Here we want to print comments. So let's do, if we have comments and comments length is bigger than 0, then we want to print the comments. Is it not defined? Okay, it's called question comments. Question comments. Question comments, like this. Okay, then we want to display all the comments. So let's do, we don't need another one. Let's go back here. Question comments map. Question comment, and here okay, we don't need, we need those. And for now let's do question comment, and I think it was content. Yes, content example comment. Right, so it works. I want to have a div that will be for all comments, and then there is will be another div for each comment. But it will be only when there are any comments. So with those I will cut it out, and here I will do this div will be for all comments, and like this for each specific comment. And let's do like this, and this will be comments outer. So let's make it prettier. Maybe we don't need comments outer. Oh no, let's do this. So we'll add some padding. Comments outer will be style div with some border top of 1 pixel solid. No, same as the question, but it will be on the top. And I will do same stuff for specific comment box. Let's call it style div and for each I will add border bottom. Now let's use those comments outer, and here comment box. Alright, so let's add who and when. And let's see, what do we put here? Okay, so let's put x time ago. Let's put it here. No, let's see why it displays so weird. Because it has some padding. Okay, let's do style padding 0. Okay, now it's better, but we need some padding, but on the whole comment. Let's go to our comment box and let's add some padding, 20 pixels on the beginning on each side, and let's see how they are doing this. From the top and the bottom there will be like 4 pixels, and there will be a small voting system here on the side too. Alright, so the text will be smaller, I think. Yeah, a little bit smaller, and yeah, font size. Let's try with 0.8 and comments outer. Let's add some margin top, 20 pixels. Or maybe here, but on the bottom. Let's also maybe display who posted it. User link. And here will be question, comment, email. Yes. Why this thing is empty? It's not visible on the question. Let's see. Question. Yeah, we need to join it. So on the question routes, here where we select question, we join users. So let's join users. So it will be users email, but also users ID as user ID. No, we don't need user ID. Let's see if we get the email now. No. Maybe we need to use db.row. Questions. Okay, now we got the email. And it shows here. Alright. 2 hours into streaming, let's go further. This one should be on the right side. Let's see. Let's go to the question page, question meta. So let's go to question meta element, and yeah, we have those. Let's see, question meta is used here. So for and when element, it has float right, but let's also add text align right. Okay, it works. Let's go back to question page, and let's remove the padding from the sides. So question box and 0 on the sides. Okay, now it's better. Let's see how they do this. Okay, there's no floating to the right when they do comments. Okay, I will remove also from here, or I will override it from question page. Comment box, who and when, we have some styling here, float, none. Okay, let's add some margin here. Margin left 10 pixels, 7, and the user will be first. Question page, the user link will go first. No breaking space. And there is this long dash that goes first. Okay, let's do this too. No breaking space, long dash, no breaking space. Let's see. Yeah, much better. Maybe we can remove this margin. Yes. Well, that looks really nice. Later we will replace those with usernames. All right. Let's see how it works here. 2, 0, 1. Okay, mine works at the same way. Alright, so let's see. We have comments. Now we need something so we can add comments, or maybe even edit them. Alright, so we need a link, as they have it, to add comments. Here, add a comment. Let's go to question page. Here, do we have a button link? No blue button link. We need button link. Yes, button link. blue link button. So, and it will be almost the same as user link. So I will copy this part and I will add a new component here. Blue link button.js. And here it will not be link, it will be a button. And the function will be called blue link button, and let's just return styled user link with all the props that will be here. Alright, now let's rename this to styled link because it looks like link. Okay, I think that's all. Now let's try to go to a question page and let's add this link. So under comments, let's add this blue link. How was it called? Blue link button. Oh, I forgot to export it. Export default blue link button. Blue link button. And a comment. Okay, almost there. Background none and border 0. Alright, and I think we want also cursor pointer and I guess some hover effect. Okay, just make it darker. So on hover, let's make this darker. 1.8D. And let's remove padding. Oh, did I click on it? I don't know. And alright, so when someone clicks on the add comment button, this should pops up. Alright, let's go back here and we'll add some custom styling here. Padding of, I don't know, 4 pixels at least. 10. And refresh, but only from the top and the bottom. Nothing from the sides. Okay, I want to also push everything here. So on the comments outer, there will be some margin left 50 pixels, same as on the this voting stuff. Almost, because we have also gap here, so it will be 70. Yes. I will put add comment here inside this. Alright, so blue button link goes into here. Yes, beautiful. Now when someone clicks on it, we want to display this. This is just a text area, but it is a comment form. All right. All right. So first, let's add on click. First, we'll add state here for the showing the comment. So for this question, we want add the show comment form and set show comment form equals use state, and the default value will be false. And here, when show comment form is true, then we will show just text area. Yeah, anything will be fine, and otherwise we will put this button like this, and on the button we can do on click set show content form to true. So when I click on it, we got a text area. That's good. Alright, so the next thing will be to create a component for comment form. So let's create here a new component called comment form.js. So it will be function comment form and it will return for now nothing. I will import style components, and I will also do const styled text area. That will be styled text area. And I think we have already styled input. Yes, so I will copy everything from here to here. And now in the form we can do form like this, and here styled text area like this. And I think then we need to also this blue button. So let's do blue button. That will say add comment. Add comment. Yes, and we need to export default this function. Let's go back to question page. Instead of showing this text area, let's do comment form. Much better, but this button is too big. We will fix it now. So let's go to comment form, and here let's do size small or just SM, and let's go to blue button, and if it's small, then the font size needs to be smaller, and the padding needs to be smaller. Let's start with padding. So I think it was this way. Props size. If it's small, then we want, I don't know, maybe 5 pixels and 7 pixels. Otherwise we want those. If size with SM. Okay, that's good. Now the font size. So props, if props size is SM, then we want the size to be 1 rem, otherwise we want to have this. I think it's still too big. Yes, let's do just 0.9. Yes, it's a little better. More padding from the top. Let's do maybe, I don't know, 8. And 10. Yeah, now it's better. Alright, let's go to comment form. This text area don't need to have that much of a margin bottom, so I will do margin bottom of 10 pixels instead. Alright, and the button needs to be on the right side, so const, let's do comment footer, yeah, styled div, and text align right, and comment footer, and let's put it here, and it works. All right. Maybe the text can be even smaller. Yeah, now it's better. Let's add some placeholder. I will just copy the placeholder from here. Yes, comment form. Place holder like this. Yes, but we want to have font family inherit. Okay, now it's better. The padding is weird here, so let's fix it. Let's see how it looks like here. Let's try with 8. Alright, maybe no. Line height 1.4 rem. 3. Okay, good enough. Rows 3. Yeah, better. All right. That looks nice. So now when someone clicks on this button, we need to handle on this on our ask page. So on the out here question page, so here on question form we need to add a function that will handle the click. Function handle add comment button. No, just handle add comment. So the only thing that we need to do is to post this comment to our API. So it will be HTTP as always, localhost 3030, and then comments, and then we need to have content. That will be, let's do now empty, and then let's say we will get it here on handle and comment content like this, and here with credentials because we need user ID. Then we have comments. Let's return comments for this question. So then response, and in this response set comments, set question comments, response data, like this. Okay, with credentials to true. Okay, now we need to use this handle and comment, and in our comment form, let's check how we should name it. On add comment click, content, and now let's copy this one, comment form, let's go inside, and on a click event we don't have the text area value here, so we need to import use state from React, and then we can do like this: const content will use state for content of the comment, and set content equals use state, and it will be empty. And then we just put the content here, and I will copy this and I will place this on the beginning here. On change event and set content to event target value. And this we get from the props that I guess we don't have defined. Okay. Let's see if we can write something here. Yes, we can. So we can write, we can click, and I think it will send a request. Let's see. Yes, it does. It doesn't work, but so the form will have also a specific action. So let's add a function, add the comment. So on submit we will run event add the comment on this event. Alright, so now in this function we will not do this on the button, but instead we'll do that type of this button is submit. So we can also submit the form with enter. And here we will call this function on add the command click, that is on props, with event target, but not this one, but we will put here content, and we need to prevent default behavior on the form so we don't send the post. Alright. We'll also send content to empty. That's all. Now let's see what will happen. Test, add comment. Okay, here's event prevent the default. Now check it, test. Okay, kinda works. And I guess it sends no, it doesn't send anything. Let's see. Test. It sends here with some payload. Yes, content test. But we need to add this comments post API endpoint. So in our API we need now we have comment routes. Let's close this one and let's add the new one. So when someone posts on slash comments, but wait, we need also post ID, or maybe not, we can get it from the payload. Then request and response. And let's go quickly back to comment question page. And here we will also add the post ID question ID like this. Alright, so back to comment routes. We need content from the payload, and we need also post ID. So let's do const content post ID equals request body. Okay, then we want to insert the new comment. So db, and what table is it? It's posts. Insert. Let's see what columns we need. Title, content, parent ID, author ID. So title will be null, content will be content, and we need also parent ID, that will be post ID, and we need also author ID, author underscore ID, and we don't have it yet because we need user ID here. We have this function that I'm going to use called get logged in user, and here we need to place a token, so request cookies token. Then we can run then with the user provided here. Then we insert a new comment with author ID user.id, because we get user from here. Alright, so let's see, then when this is done, inserting is done, we want to send a response to 100 or to 1 because it's created. Alright, let's try again. Let's clear everything here, test, add comment, and it failed. Let's see why. Okay, this one is nodejs. Let's try again, test, almost. Okay, we need to send the comments here, all comments, but we have it also here. So I think I will just put it as a function somewhere. So let's create comment functions, comment functions.js. Let's go back here. Let's add function get question comments, maybe better get post comments, and here post ID, like this. Database imported, and this one will be exported, and like this. And we return this promise. So if we go back to comment routes, we can simplify this one with get post comments, post ID here, then comments, and we can do just response JSON comments and send. Yes, like this. And we can remove all these. Let's see. Yes, we forgot that JS here. So here also, after it's inserted, let's get all the comments here. So get post comments, post ID, then comments, response JSON comments, and send it. I think that's all. Okay, it worked, kinda. Test 2, and comment. Wow, it works. But after posting a comment, let's go to a question page. We want to hide this thing. So then set show content form to false. Like this. Oh, and let's add test 3. Bah. Alright. So it works. Alright, so we have now comments here. We have question, we have voting system here in place. Now let's place voting system on each comment. And as you can see here, they have like, you can only report comment. I will just refresh, so you can only +1 a comment. You can't downvote a comment, but I will make it easier so I can also downvote the comment, or maybe not. Let's see how it looks like here. At my StackOverflow you can downvote comments, because why not? But I will make it smaller. So let's fix it now. Alright, so on every comment we need to also provide those comment summary and user vote. So same we have here, no, not here, here vote count and user vote. We need this also for comments. Alright, so let's try it. So let's go to comment routes. This one can be closed. And we need to go to get post comments. And we need to join user ID here, so we need user object. So I will use the function get logged in user. Let's not forget that JS here. But I don't have the token here, and that is the problem. And I will remove this for now, and here I will add the second parameter called user ID. That will be null by default. Alright, so first we need to join all votes. So let's just join left join. Let's do this with db row votes as all, or maybe not, just votes on votes post ID equals post ID, like this. And in the select, we don't want to select everything. Instead, we want to select everything from posts, and we also want to select summary of votes vote as, I think it was, I call it votes summary, like this. Right, now let's see if we get zeros on everyone, or nulls. Nulls are also good. Question here. Okay, there was an error. Unknown column. Okay, I need to use db row on this. Alright, let's refresh. Okay, here we are getting comments, and we have one comment. But why one? Okay, because I need to also group by posts ID. And let's refresh. Okay, let's check comments. It has votes summary of 2, and I think it's on each comment. Yes, and that is not true. Because let's see, we left join votes posts ID. No, we don't want to count votes for the question. We want to count posts for comments, so it will be posts dot ID. Let's refresh, clean everything, refresh again. Okay, and here we have vote summary null. Okay, so it's fine. And now I will try also to left join db row user vote. So votes as user vote on let's just call it uvote, or maybe no, user vote, so it will be more readable. So now user vote post ID equals posts ID and user vote author ID. Was it author ID on votes? No, it was user ID. User ID equals user ID. The user ID we have in as a variable. Okay, if there is no user ID, then let's set user ID to -1. All right. Let's see if this still works. Yes, it kind of works. Now we need to also select this user vote db row, and we will select user vote as user vote, like this. Let's refresh, and user vote is null. Alright, so maybe let's try to add the vote on the one. Let's maybe take number 13, ID 13 votes. Let's add a new one. Post ID 13, the comment in the middle, user ID 1 and vote 1. Let's see, let's refresh to see if the query works. And yes, vote summary 1, votes summary null, but the user vote is still null. Let's see why. Let's say user vote post ID is post ID, and user vote user ID. Okay, we need to pass this user ID from comment routes. So get post comments. Here we want also to we have get post comments, and we want also to have user ID here. So let's get the token const token equals request cookies token, and now let's do get logged in user token. Then we have user, so we can do stuff like those. Here user.id. like this. Let's see now if this comment, yes, user vote 1. And let's change the vote to -1. And let's refresh here. And we have it votes summary -1 and user vote -1. So it looks like it works, but now we need also to display this voting tool. So let's go back to question page, and on specific comment we want to also display this voting buttons. Let's for now total 0 and user vote will be 0. Okay, it's too big and it looks wrong. Let's go back to comment box and let's do display grid, and template columns will be, let's see here, maybe 30 pixels, and let's do a column gap of 20 pixels, or it could be smaller, like 15. Let's see where it's used. The rest needs to be inside one div like this. Comment box. Let's see. Display. No, it's display grid. Let's make it with 100%. No, okay, let's see what is wrong. Okay, because we have only one column, one FR, the second column will be. Okay, and we don't need this 100%. Alright, now we need to make this smaller. So voting buttons, size, SM. Now let's go to voting buttons. And here we need to respect the sizing here. Alright, so let's see. Size equals props size. Same for the total and same for the second arrow. Do we need this on the buttons or on the arrows? We don't need to have it on the buttons. We need to have it on the arrows, like this. Alright, so let's start with arrow up. So props size, if it's SM, then let's make it much smaller, otherwise 20 pixels as it was. And I will copy this part and I'll put it here and here. Okay, now this one is smaller. Let's do also on this and this. Okay, this one is also smaller. So now let's go to total and let's see. The width needs to be smaller. Okay, it was 40%. Let's make it to 20. Yes, much better. And the size 1.4, or if it's smaller than 1. And the height of the line 1.4. 1.4 was the default, and if it's small then 1. Okay, padding, I guess 707. 707 was the previous value for large, and let's do 0 for small. Oh, 202. Okay, much better. Now let's see how they are built. So the thing that has user vote on it, and this thing. Okay, the one above button, it's this div. Why it's so wide? Okay, it's because the parent allows it. So let's go back to a question page and comment box, and let's make it 20 pixels. Let's see how much space they need. Yeah, 20 pixels. Alright, now I think this is too big for comments. Let's see. Let's take another question. Right, I want to make it even smaller. So I will go back to voting buttons. Or I want to first see how it looks like without the voting system in place. Let's add empty div here. I think that is too much of a padding, so I will fix it. Comment box, let's add only 10 pixels padding. Yeah, now it's better. But I will make the voting buttons even smaller, 0.8 or 0.6 on this total thing, and font size 0.8. Maybe do like this. And the arrows will be smaller too. No, maybe that's enough. Okay, it's not super perfect, but I will try to put real comments. So yeah, here I will copy those. So we have some data that will look good. Okay, so now we see there is it's too tight. So let's go back to question page, comment box, and line height 1.2. Like this. Too big, 1.1. Still too big, 1. It's better now, but I think it's too bright. Yeah, let's do color DDD. Yeah, now it's better. Now it looks really nice. I will add another comment. Just some lorem ipsum. Let's see if everything works. Yes, it does. Alright, so now let's fix voting here. So for every comment we will have this voting system, and question comment vote summary, and the user vote will be question comment user vote. Let's go back to and see how it's named. Comment routes, get post comments, votes summary, votes summary. Okay, and if it's null, then we want to place a 0, otherwise we put the value. Alright, now we also want to fix the voting, because I think if I click on this, yeah, nothing works. So let's add on arrow up click and on arrow down click. So we have those functions in the voting buttons here, handle on arrow up click, but we are using question ID. Let's use instead post ID as a parameter on this and this post ID. And here let's use this parent post ID. So here we will put question ID, same for this one, question.id, question.id, Something went wrong. Okay, because those are empty. So on arrow, handle on arrow up click, and here we put the question comment ID, and here on arrow down click on, let's do handle on arrow down click with also question comment ID. Okay, see? Okay, now when I click on those, this one of this, I think I forgot about wing thing. Okay, we set user vote on the question. Instead we need a new function called set vote count, and here we'll use post ID. Or maybe not. We need a function called set comment vote count. Alright, and in here we need a comment ID and the vote count. So here we need all the comments, so let's get question comments for each comment. Then if comment ID equals comment ID, then we need to update the vote count. Let's copy question comments, question comments, question comments, so we will have a local variable, and then let's do question comments. Here we'll also have comment index, and let's do a comment index here, so we'll set it on the proper comment, and votes summary equals vote count. It should be named vote count, or it should be vote summary. Okay, we have this function, but what do we need it for? For set user vote. Let's set, yeah, okay, set comment vote summary. All right, Right, let's use this function. In handle on arrow up click, we need to check if this is a question. So if post ID is question ID, then we do this. Otherwise, we do set comment vote summary. I will rename it to send comment voting. Rename set comment votes. Set comment vote. Okay, it will be post ID as the first parameter because here we have the comment ID, and the next thing will be 1 because this is our vote because it's up click. Alright, similar thing we need to put here for down click. So if its post ID is question ID, then we want to set then we want to put this. Otherwise, we want to do it like this, but with -1. And it's not post ID, it's like this, post ID. Alright. So when someone clicks up on a comment, then we run set comment vote. So let's get back here. So here we have the comment that we are upvoting or downvoting, and here we will have user vote. So here let's do const previous user vote, and this is this dot user vote. I change it to let because we will modify it. If this is null, then let's put it as 0. Let's put it here, more readable. Alright, so when someone votes, we update the voting summary with let's also put it as a constant, const previous votes summary, this. And this will be this one plus or minus this one. So we can do prev vote summary plus user vote but we need to take this to the account. So if this one is, it's like this const. If this one previous user vote is 1, and the user vote is also 1, then we remove the vote. So then we remove the vote. So we do -1. So we do like this, and we do this. Vote summary will be -1, and user vote will be null. Then let's copy this part. If the previous was 1 and the new one is -1. Oh, it will be a lot of calculating here. If the previous was 1 and the new was -1, then we put it current as a user vote. And here will be also no. But here we can do, if it's previous user vote equals user vote, then it will be null. Otherwise it will be user vote, and then we can put it outside here, and we don't need this one. So when user clicks on this or this, then we set the user vote on this comment to, if it's the same arrow, then to null, so it's empty. Otherwise to +1 or -1 respectively. Alright, let's see here. This one is correct. No, this one is not correct. If the previous was 1 and the new is also 1, then we remove 1 from the summary. Okay, that is correct. If the previous is 1 and the new is -1, then we do -2, and we will have 2 more of those, because if the previous, well, okay, it's okay. If the previous one was -1 and the new is 1, then we do +2. Yes. If the previous one was -1 and the new is -1, then we do +1. Okay, can I make those shorter in any way? Okay, this is summary. Okay, this is too complicated. I will write them separately. But this can be also, let's add the 2 more, because it can be null also on those. So if the previous was null, and the new one is +1, then we do +1. if the previous vote was null and the new one is -1, then we do -1. And those two can be shortened, because I can do just user vote here and remove this part and like this. So if the previous was null, then we just add the user vote, and that can be +1 or -1. Alright, so let's see this one again. The user vote, yeah, will be set to if it's the same arrow that was already clicked, then it's disabled now, otherwise it will be the vote. Alright, I will think later how can I make those shorter, but for now let's refresh and try this one. Didn't work. Alright. Why cannot access question comments before initialization? Alright, this will be an empty array in the beginning, and I will rename this to, or maybe I don't need to. Here I will do set question comments to question comments. And let's try again. No, it doesn't work. So let's make it like this. Then I will rename this to new question comments. Yes. And here I will put question comments. I will refresh. Let's see. It worked. Okay, but it also does this one. Let's see the +1 and -1 functions. Handle on arrow up click. Alright, so when you click on this one, we update this thing. And instead, we should make an if statement here. So, when when we get the response from the server with the total count of the voting summary, then if it was question ID, if it was question, so post ID equals question ID, and here is capital E, then we do this. Otherwise we need to update question total, and I will create a function for that here. Question function update, not question, update comment votes summary, and here let's do let new comments equals question question comments, and new comments for each. Here we have comment, and here we'll have also comment ID. Here we'll have a comment ID, and some from summary. And when we loop through them, I need to check if the comment ID equals comment ID provided in the parameters. If it's so, then we can do new comments of the same index. So it's not comment ID, it should be comment index here, comment index, and then votes summary equals sum. And on the end we need to set this to state, so it will be set question comments and new comments like this. Then we can use this function, and we can use this function here. Alright, so when someone clicks on it and we get response from the API, then we can do question, not question, it's a post ID, because it's a comment here and we get the ID. And it will be response.data. And the same will be for this. Yes. Let's see if it works. Let's make this +1. Nothing happens. Let's check this one. Nothing happens. Okay, is something broken? Check this one. 0. Okay, this one works, and this one doesn't. Let's see why. I will console log comment ID. Yeah, we get here. Let's console log previous user vote. Okay, the previous is 1. And let's also in the new one. So it should be 1 and 1. Okay, now we have null and 1. That's weird. Okay, I think this is because it needs to re-render. Okay, now it's +1. I click, it doesn't render, but if I refresh, then it renders. Set question comments. Alright. The problem is that React doesn't know that this changes. Let's see. Components. Here is one command. Here is the last command. Here we have voting buttons. Let's see those voting buttons. Nothing happens. Let's go back to question page. Here we have some information. We have state here. Here we have tags, here we have comments. Let's see if the last comment changes in the when I click on it. No, it does not. Nothing changes. Let's see why. Here is the user vote. I will console log previous user vote and user vote. One. Okay, so it should be null. Okay, when I click on this one, why it runs double? It runs twice. Okay, because I have another one here. Okay, that was nothing. Now it became one. Let's see, components. User vote. I will also like this. It's null. It should be null. Let's check like this. Now it's 1. Now I click again. It's null. And if I click down, it should be -1. Yes, it is. Okay, so it looks like React doesn't see that something has changed. React force render functional component. Let's see if I change anything else, if it will update. I will use state for something else. Const a set a, use state 0, use no, set a plus 1. Sorry about this one. Okay, now it says, now run React says that something has changed. I will just rename it with not set a to but last comment change and set last comment change, and here will be new date. We don't need this one, we just need this one to set it. And here said last comment change, new date. I will close this thing now and let's check it. Yes, 0, 1, refresh, it's still 1, -1, refresh, -1, 0, refresh. It works. So the reason that it didn't work was that we changed something really small deep in the object of question comments, and I think that React doesn't see it as a change, but I will also try to do also clone, or maybe no, I will make this way, another way. For each question comments, I will try to create more like new array. New question comments, push and comment. We don't need this. Let's see. Yeah, it works. So the problem was that I was to this variable that I was setting as a new comment. I was first using the default comments, and the problem was that computer sees it as the same variable, but I was just changing a small thing inside it. Instead, I should create a new variable, and React will see it more like as a new value. There's something new, it's a new thing. So when you set it, I should render. And before, when I was using here as the default values question comments, I was setting back question comments, and React says that yeah, it's question comments, I already have it, so, but it doesn't check inside if something has changed inside it. So that was the problem. I think we don't need this. Yeah, it still works. So I can remove also this part because we don't need it anymore. Yeah, it works. Let's just +1 every comment here. Yeah. And this one will be on 1 or 0. I don't know. No, 2, -1, -1. Yeah, now it looks really nice. I see that now the comments don't have email, so let's check command functions. And we were joining users, but we need to select it again. Users email. Now it should work. Let's refresh. Now it works. Alright, that will be all for today, because it was already 3.5 hours. In the next stream I will fix answers, and if I will have enough time, I will fix answers and then timing here, so it will not be X time ago. There will be answers here also with comments and voting, and I think it should be much simpler then. And then I would love to create a tag page and a profile page for each user, and that will be then a finished project. I will also add usernames later on, so there will be no emails displayed here but usernames instead. So thanks for watching, subscribe to be notified, and maybe leave a like or a comment. So thanks for today. I hope you learned something, and see you in the next one, and have a nice day. Bye bye.